Good day, ladies and gentlemen, this is Professor Ma. It was reported today, the 18th of August 2023 by Channel News Asia, www.channelnewsasia.com, that former GIC Chief Investment Officer Ng Kok Song, former NTUC Income Chief Executive Tan Kin Lien and former Senior Minister Tharman Shanmugaratnam have qualified as candidates for Singapore's presidential election, the Elections Department announced. Mr. Ng applied under the public sector deliberative track, with Mr. Tan going under the private sector deliberative track. Mr. Tharman meanwhile submitted his bid under the public sector service track. The fact of the matter is that all three gentlemen are establishment figures. Mr. Ng worked in Government of Singapore Investment Corporation, Mr. Tan was a former People's Action Party member, and Mr. Tharman of course was formerly Deputy Prime Minister. The only non-establishment candidate was businessman George Goh, but he was however unsuccessful in his application for a Certificate of Eligibility. George had applied under the private sector deliberative track. George said that the committee took a very narrow interpretation of the requirements without explaining the rationale behind its decision. The key criterion for the private sector track is that the candidate must have been the chief executive of a company with an average of $500 million in shareholders' equity for the most recent 3 years in that office, and which is profitable after taxes. In its 2016 report, the Constitutional Commission said that it was desirable to make the requirements more stringent to ensure the President has the technical competence and expertise to discharge the functions and exercise the powers of the presidency appropriately and effectively. Having technical competence is well and good, however, the public sector track lists the Speaker of Parliament as an automatic qualification criterion for presidential candidate. Professor Ma is unable to figure out what relevant technical competence the Speaker of Parliament has comparable to the chief executive of a company with an average of $500 million in shareholders' equity for the most recent 3 years in that office, and which is profitable after taxes. For more discussion on this topic, Professor Ma highly recommends that our esteemed viewers watch. Professor Ma explains why Episode 8 Why Does the Singapore Government Treat Us Like Kids? The link to that video will appear at the end of this video. In subsequent videos, Professor Ma will explain more aspects of life. In the meantime, please help by liking and by subscribing. Thank you.